Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Mecha BREAK video. Today's video, we're going to be talking about the buffs and nerfs that are coming soon to Season 1. Now, they did start by talking about some of these are not finalized and they could roll some of them back. And there might be more strikers that might be looking at. Now, we just recently posted the what is new for the Season 1 that we posted on our channel. So if you want to see what is new coming for Season 1 altogether, everything, I have a video and I'll post it there for you guys. But this specifically is going about the nerfs and buffs that might be coming. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the first thing they started talking about is the weapon and shield swapping. Both for Panther and Alysnes, they found that it had a 1 second delay and it wasn't really great thing. So they ended up removing it altogether, and now there is no delay when swapping out your shield and your sword. So this gives it a better quality life change for those specific strikers. Now, they also started talking about Falcon. Falcon, on the last patch, they ended up giving a toggle on the recon, which is really good, great quality life change. But they found that Falcon's recon ability, especially during storms, is super strong, where a lot of mechs cannot do much about it and they are being targeted. So what they ended up doing was actually giving Falcon a longer cooldown for the recon. Now when you use it, they are adding about 6 more seconds to that. So you can still toggle it on. It's just going to be adding 6 more seconds to the actual timer for that. So you want to make sure when you're using your recon, you are maximizing that time, and that you just don't have it toggle on and wasting it. Now, for both Skyraider and Falcon, they noticed that a lot of times the slow loop was the best loop. And honestly, that is, to me, the slow loop was the best loop. You will slowly go around, and as you slowly go around, you won't be targeted more towards the end of that big loop, and you can do all this damage while you're doing that. So what they noticed is because both Skyraider and Falcon can do this, what they ended up doing is actually now having a timer specifically when a loop is occurring, that no matter what, the timer will start for them to be locked on. So while you are now looking at yourself doing a big loop, somewhere maybe 3/4 of the way or even before then, you are now going to be able to be targeted where you weren't before. So there is a nerf when it comes to the movement. Now, I didn't hear anything specifically about the spiral. That is totally different. The spiral consumed a lot more energy, so it was always better to do the loops altogether. But now you have to be a little bit more careful. Now, I would like to do some playtesting to see how and when you can actually do some animation cancels to kind of know when you want to actually animation cancel and go into another loop or another trick to see if you can stop yourself from being targeted. So we will be doing some playtesting when it comes to that. Now, Skyraider specifically also is the micro missiles. The lock-on range for the missiles used to be 250. Now they're bringing it down to 200. So you will lose lock-on range when it comes to those missiles as they come out. So those micro missiles have to be really targeted specifically. You have to really hit it centered off the target. And I think you can still escape them if you're really fast. If you do like weapon dash and stuff like that, you should be able to escape them, and then they would eventually just blow up. So they will lose their lock-on range altogether after 200 meters. So it's a little bit smaller range now. Now, Alysnes, they are doing a damage buff both on the main weapon and also on the gauss cannon, the third ability. So that is really nice for those who play Alysnes. They are making it where it's a little bit more stronger. Plus, it's easier now with that weapon swap and shield swap to make it a little bit more better when playing Alysnes. Now, I don't know if that would help those people who are maining Alysnes, so I'm curious to hear what you guys think down below for that. Also, something they didn't really talk about is Welkin. Now, his shield has an adjustment where it only takes frontal damage. Now, that was the wording specifically for it, and when we tested Welkin, you can still do damage from the back, like ballistics and missiles, but the energy from the back was impossible. So I'm curious, by them saying that they only made it front-only protection, will this allow energy damage from the back now? We will do some play testing when it comes to that, but hopefully we can get some better answers, and we should be getting another either live stream or another chat before we actually get our actual Season 1 coming out. Now, there are some changes to Inferno. Now, Inferno is one of my personal favorites in Mash Mug specifically. I think Inferno is amazing, and I love Inferno in Mash Mug. But they ended up changing Inferno a little bit as well. Some of it is better quality life change, like they are talking about when you're charging up both your weapons for Inferno. Now it's going to be faster for you to lock onto that target after you do a full charge up blast to then lock back on and start your charge up to shoot again. It's a little bit faster to lock on as that as well. Now, one thing that was confusing and I was lost in translation is it looks like there might be some reload tweaks when it came to it. When they started saying the numbers didn't match to what the game actually shows from what the translation was saying. So I wasn't too sure, but it sounds like we're just going to get faster, a slightly faster reload. When I looked at the image and seeing how fast it was going on the reload, it's just slightly ever so faster. I want to say maybe 10% faster, but I can't say for sure because they didn't confirm it. They didn't do a really good job at translating that specific. There was a hiccup and while they were translating, so that didn't also help as well. Now, Stego also has a better quality life change on the Haze itself specifically. You'll be able to toggle on and off the Haze a little bit more quicker. You wasn't able to before. It did have a 1 second delay when it came to toggling. Now you can toggle it on really quick, get the Haze out there, quickly toggle off, and hopefully get out of that situation. So that might be a way for you to quickly turn on and off, but it does still have a really long cooldown. I hope that they potentially give Stego a slight more cooldown, slightly less cooldown, so make it a little bit faster for them to reuse it on that Haze, just for more of a quality life change. But overall, that's what they ended up doing with Stego. It's a little bit faster now to not worry about toggling on and off that Haze a little bit more quicker. Now, next striker they talked about was Narukami. Narukami has a quality life change when you have the actual third ability, the Aux 3, that dome to make you invisible. Falcon was able to use a recon and be able to target you. Same goes for Serenith. Now they made it where it's going to be Narukami won't be able to be targeted inside the dome specifically. It would be, you will see the dome, but you won't be able to target Narukami. So I think that's a pretty good quality life change. That's actually pretty strong. They said that Narakami's third ability has a really long cooldown, and they want to make sure that they make best use out of it. And the fact that you can easily counter it with Falcon, it kind of defeats the purpose. So they wanted to make Narakami a little bit better when it comes to that. Now, another huge quality life change, which I think is really good, is Luminae. I think Luminae, I didn't realize this until they started talking about this, but now when you are in your corrupted mode, the damage mode, when you're all red, you now have the ability to destroy missiles that are nearby for you, which is really nice. So as missiles were getting close to you, you were still getting hit by it. But now, because that corruption mode, it has a damage AoE, now missiles that get near you will actually be destroyed. Now, some missiles still hit Illuminate in the video, so I'm not sure how great that would be, but it does destroy some of the missiles, which is pretty cool. Next is Serenith. Serenith has an anti-jammer cooldown buff. It is going to get a faster cooldown on this. Now, me personally, I think Serenith in the beginning of the game when it first came out was a sleeper pick. Now, I think Serenith is a powerhouse. With this buff, a faster anti-jammer where they won't be able to target you is insane. And I don't think it's warranted. Me personally, I feel like that's really strong already. Now giving it a faster cooldown every 17 seconds, give or take, you're going to be able to not be targeted for that time frame is crazy because you can keep activating this, which is, I think, again, really crazy and strong. Next is a big nerf coming to Stellaris and all the Stellaris main out there. One, they're touching grapple nerfs. It looks like now when they grapple, you have to wait about 0.8 seconds. There's a time for any player who is grappled to kind of break free or kind of do something to react to it. I think that's insane. I feel like I understand as a Stellaris main that there is a chance for it if you don't already know this, but some people don't know this, but a really bad Stellaris player, if you're really far but you're able to lock on, there is still a chance for you not to even get that grapple off. There is that chance because how far you are, you can still lock on, but it doesn't mean you're going to get to that target for sure. The way a good Stellaris player to take care of this issue was get close as possible and almost the same height. If you had both of those situations met, then you can easily guarantee your target. Now this is going to make it even harder for that grapple. Now I don't mind this as a Stellaris main. I don't mind that you give players a time to react to this. My problem with this specifically is I feel like you should give the grapple hook a better cooldown, a faster cooldown, because 2 grapple hooks can easily be wasted. And then on top of that, you have to wait a really long time before you can grapple. I feel like I don't mind giving players a time to react. I think every player should have a chance to react to something. You shouldn't be stunned and then you're stuck in that specific spot. I don't mind that. I just feel like Stellaris should have a little bit faster cooldown, but that is my personal take. Now, another nerf to Stellaris, which I think is huge, is the camo nerf. It's going to have a longer cooldown and a shorter duration. As a Stellaris player, I see how strong it is, and I've always talked about how strong the camo is when it comes to Stellaris. It's part of the kit. I feel personally that when it comes to Stellaris, I think you should do small tweaks to any striker. I don't feel like big nerfs should be possible. I feel like small nerfs. I feel like you should either go after the cooldown or the duration, one of the two, and then if it's still overly powerful, then hit both of them. But that's just my personal take. And when it comes to any striker buffs or nerf, I feel that is the best way to do it. Even with the bigger one, when it came to Welkin and it came to Triceratops and things of that sort, hitting them hard was pretty strong. I feel like just tweaking it just a little bit, I can see why people don't like it, but I think doing minor tweaks is a better idea than hitting it both hard. When it comes to Stellaris, like I said, I like them. I like Stellaris as my main. When the new characters come out, I'm going to be looking at Alfred. I think Alfred looks super cool, super sick, light mech, goes around, shoot missiles, and has a really fast speed to it. But I think when it comes to Stellaris, I can understand the issues. I just feel like you should have a faster cooldown on the grapple hook, and also when it comes to the camo, either hit the duration or hit the cooldown. Don't hit on both. I feel like when you use a camo, you're using it to defensively. You might have gotten yourself in the situation. I need some energy. Use my camo. I have no energy. I have to wait for the cooldown to get back up on my energy depletion, go all the way back up, and then I'm good to go back in. But then at that time frame, you might not have enough energy to get out, and your camo is out, and you have a really long camo duration. But that's just my personal take. Let me know what you guys think about these buffs and nerfs. Like I said, some of these will be rolled back, potentially. Some will be sticking, and also that we might be seeing more strikers. They say wait for the next live stream, potentially, or the next chat that they might be giving out for us. But let me know what you guys think down below. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in our next video. Peace.